So that's everything for the main.py file. The only thing to do now is actually to test out this agent. So I'm going to open up the terminal because everything in this AI agent, for now at least, is done within the terminal. And before I actually do anything, I'm just going to clean up the terminal so that there's a bit more space. And before I run the main.py file, I'm actually just going to show you what the data file in the data folder looks like. So it's a very, very basic JSON file. So as I said before, this is really to simulate how the back end of a business may collect information about a customer inquiry. So for this example, we're providing the AI agent only with the customer name. We could have provided it with something like an email address or a phone number, which realistically, in a customer inquiry scenario, they probably would have provided that information. But once again, keeping it very simple for this example, we're just providing the AI agent with the customer name. But you can, of course, populate this JSON file with as many different fields as you want. So now that that's clear, let's start running the AI agent itself from the terminal. So first things first, you'll notice that the first message comes from the AI agent. It's saying, hello, I'm Hamish from HomeBots. I'm reaching out with regards to your recent product inquiry. To begin, please confirm your name. Once again, it's very common for AI agents who are reaching out to customers to have some sort of authentication or confirmation step at the beginning of the conversation. This could be a reference number, it could be an ID, or it could be a name or a date of birth, for example. Once again, this is just to illustrate how this could work. So I'm going to just confirm my name. Yep, my name is Aaron, of course. Now notice, you'll be able to see that there's been some output from the tool here. So this is once again really nice, not only from a debugging point of view, but also from a user experience point of view. You would of course format this slightly differently in a production environment. But notifying the user that, okay, I've actually gone and used a tool. And this tool has been the checking the checklist items tool. So I've gone to the JSON file and I can see, based on the tool that I've been using, that there's a few fields that are missing, and it's actually listing all the fields that we need to collect. So then once the AI agent has used that tool, that information gets passed back to the AI agent itself. This is why the agent has come back with the response that it has. So it said, I see we have a few details to confirm. That is very true. Let's start with our HomeBot product line. We have 3 models available, the 1000, 2000, 3000. Would you like me to explain the difference between these models? So that's great. That's a really helpful response, to be honest. And yeah, I would like you to explain the differences. So I'm going to go ahead and let the AI agent know that. Now, once again, what you'll see here is that the agent is thinking in quote marks. It's gone to the tools, it's collecting all the information about the 3 different products, it's then compiling that information, and the AI agent is now able to present that all back to the user. So it's given me a summary of all 3 products, which is perfect. And then it's asking me what model is of interest the most. Would you like to choose one of these for your home? And yeah, absolutely, I'd love to. So I'm going to let the agent know that once again. And in this example, I'm going to go for the 3000, I think. So it's come back once again. It's being very pleasant, being very amicable with me. Excellent choice. Thank you very much. It's just sort of summarizing, why the HomeBot 3000 is a great choice. Once again, it's got a built-in sauna, which is pretty cool. And now it's like telling me, okay, let's continue the conversation. Essentially, there's a few more things that we need. Can you provide me with the delivery address for the HomeBot? So once again, quite an important piece of information that the company would need. So yeah, I'm going to provide my address. Now, obviously, with all these tools, you will, especially with things like address, phone numbers, that sort of stuff, you'll want to have deeper levels of validation of these as well. So you can call external APIs to validate these. You can have some rules in your code to validate phone numbers, that sort of stuff. But once again, for now, I've kept it very simple, but you can add this in very easily. So I've given my address. It said that it's recorded my delivery address. That's great. Now I need your email address, obviously for confirmation. So that's absolutely fine. Once again, I'll just put my email address in. Thank you very much. Yep, that's great. The AI agent has noted my email. Now can you provide me with your phone number? So yep, once again, this is absolutely fine. As I said before, you can add varying depths of validation here. For this example, I haven't really added any validation, but in a production environment, you definitely want to do this. So continue with the conversation. Once again, this AI agent's doing a really good job in terms of focusing on the tasks that it needs to get done and being very concise with it too. So now I need to know your preferred payment method. Do you want to pay by credit card, debit card, bank transfer, or another payment method in mind? Now, one of the beauties of working with LLMs is that it's not rules-based. It's very dynamic and it's fluid. And once again, you can build rules in here as well. So as a company, you may have a preferred payment method and you might want to encourage someone to use that payment method. In this example, once again, I haven't put too many guardrails in place, but I'm actually going to try and throw it off a little bit. And I'm going to say, actually, I'd prefer to pay in cash on delivery. Of course, this may not be an option that a customer or a company would want to satisfy. So there could be some rules to actually deny this as an option. But for now, this company, Homebots, is happy with that. So that's absolutely fine. So the last thing that the AI agent needs to know is when would you like this to be delivered? So I'm going to say 30th of April at 3 p.m. Now this raises an interesting point. So see what comes out on the terminal here. You can see that the tool has been called and it's processed the date as in the correct format. But notice that it's processed the date as 2024. So 4th of April in 2024 at 3 p.m. Now this is interesting because I'm using one of the older models of Haiku, and LLMs in general don't have a concept of what the current date or time is. Therefore, what you can do to alleviate this is, as the AI agent gets instantiated, you can give it that knowledge of what the current date and time is. So if I'd have passed that into the context of the system prompt, then it would have come back with the actual date that I needed, which is the 30th of April 2025 at 3 p.m. But because the LLM doesn't have a concept of what date it is right now, it thinks we're still in 2024. So you can see the past date tool has been called, which is great. It's passed the date in the correct format, which is exactly what we need. And then another tool has been called, which has basically told us that we've got all of the details that we need. Now we can proceed with ending the conversation. So it rounds out with a kind of thank you message. It confirms everything, and then it says, thank you for your time, goodbye. So as I said before, the exit conditions have been met, and therefore the conversation has been exited, which is what we want. We don't need the AI agent to do anything else. We want to keep conversations fairly short and sweet with customers, so there's no need to drag things out. So this last thing I'll show is the log that's come from the AI agent. So as you can see, all the data fields that we defined have been filled in, and that's why I exited the conversation, because it was able to collect everything. So it has checked the checklist. It's gotten my name, it's got my address, it's got my delivery date, it's got my email address. The is finished flag is obviously set to true, because otherwise it wouldn't have exited the conversation. And especially in a production environment, it's got a complete log of all the different messages and all of the content that's come back from those messages as well. So we can go through that. We can keep a log of that in the system. This is really good from a traceability and an audit perspective, especially in production environments. And then at the end, we have a few of the extra fields as well. So we have the payment method that I wanted to pay with, the phone number, and the product that I actually have chosen to. So that is our AI agent.